Hi everyone, it's Patricia Ann and Tommy D today, and we're going to be talking about Rio Palace, Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. It's a beautiful five-star hotel in Mexico.
Well, I would have to say that if you decide to go to Rio Palace in Cabo San Lucas, it is exactly what you could expect from a five-star hotel. The service, the food, the rooms are all of excellent quality. Uh, the staff is incredible, very friendly, very outgoing. They're very helpful, very accommodating to your needs. There's really everything you see and heard about the Rio Palace is exactly what you will get. It is definitely a hotel for the five-star crowd. It's got a real mixture of different types of people that go there. Most of the people, depending on part of the Caribbean you go to, most of the people we met in Cabo were Americans that were from the west coast of the United States, like California, Nevada, Arizona. A lot of people from San Francisco, San Jose. Very close. It's very close. It's a very small, like 2.5 hour trip down the coast from Los Angeles. And then you meet a lot of Canadians, mostly from Western Canada.
Yeah, like Saskatchewan,
Yeah, we
right?
met a lot of people from Alberta that worked on the oil rigs.
And they were flying over
Hmm.
the ocean.
Yeah, British Columbia, Saskatchewan. You do meet people from Eastern Canada. We're from Toronto, but you mostly will meet, and you also meet a fair number of French Canadians as well from Quebec. But mostly you meet a lot of Canadians from Western Canada, whereas in the eastern part of the Caribbean, you'll meet a lot of people from eastern parts of Canada, different parts of Europe and such. We
And
so
also, we saw Russians, remember, as well?
Yeah, we met. There wasn't too many. We met a few people from Russia, but it was a very small amount of people. It was it's hard to describe the Rio Palace because the first night we got there, we came in the evening, and we'd never been to Mexico before. So when we arrived, it went through really quick at the time, and we went through customs
Really quickly.
very quickly. We got on the bus. The heat is dry,
Yeah.
like a sauna dry heat. So it's very different than say going to, let's say Dominican Republic, where it's very humid and hot
Right.
climate. In Mexico, it's more of a dry, hot climate. But they're in the unlike the Dominican in the morning.
It's
It's
cool.
actually quite chilly in
You
the
need,
morning in
yeah,
Cabo.
you need a sweater.
And then as the day progresses into the morning, it gets hot, and then it gets hotter and hotter. So it's a very lovely environment. When we first arrived the first night, we came through, went through. We drove up through at night through Cabo San Lucas. So we got a chance to see a little bit of Cabo, the Walmart and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Subway. For people that are Mexicans that go there, and so we went through. It was kind of cool seeing a huge Walmart that was open in the front, so everybody's just coming and going. There's no doors. It was really kind of cool. A different type of Walmart,
Yeah.
but it's made mostly for their Mexican citizens. And then we got into the hotel. We arrived in let's say about, I don't know, maybe about 9 in the
Yeah,
evening.
about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, about 9. And we got a welcoming drink. Staff was really friendly, super friendly. I went through the lineup, checked in, no problems, got our room. Our room was, we loved the room we had. It was a junior suite, and it was it's changed a little since we've been there, but the room is very Mexicana. It's old style colonial Mexican. You can smell the cedar wood, which is really great. I love colonial Mexican. I don't like going to hotels that all look the same as every other hotel you've been to. It's got a very colonial feel
Yeah.
to it. Um, the They have a safe. The safe is electronic, which is really great. Um, the beds are very, very comfortable. I had a junior suite, and my wife and I actually got a chance to see a whale We never seen a whale jumping in the water, going through the water before. Because remember, you're at the bottom of Baja California, and the next piece of land southwards is Antarctica. So you're literally looking straight down towards, if you maybe past Easter Island, and the next set of land straight down vertical wise is Antarctica.
And the room that we had was overlooking the water, so
Yeah.
we had like a beach view, so you could see the whales bobbing up and down, which was absolutely spectacular. It was so
Yeah.
breathtaking, and the hotel is really, really breathtakingly beautiful.
It
It's
is.
just gorgeous. Any view you get in the hotel is a really nice view.
Yeah, the room itself. The first night I was there, actually, when I travel with Patricia, because I'm responsible for our safety and for our security and such, I tend to relax more once I'm in the room. So Patricia was pretty tired from the trip. It's about a 6-hour trip from Toronto. So we went down. I believe it was on Sunwing or Air Transat. I can't remember. It was one of them. So they're identical. So basically, if you're taking one, you're taking the other. Although I know Sunwing's been bought. I think Sunwing's been bought out by WestJet recently, but at the time it was exactly the same type of experience. So when you get into the first night, I actually sat in the junior suite, having my rum and my Coke because I could relax. Patricia went to sleep. She had a shower. She was beat. So we just came in and had like a very light buffet, they have like burgers and stuff. So we just had a little bit of food, just to tie us over till the morning.
Oh, you're going to talk about what it says, Medellin, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah.
Mexico City, it's 12
Yeah,
o'clock. It was really...
their television there is very different than other countries.
It's great. I loved it.
It's great. The weather girls tend to wear these really short mini skirt hoochie coochie. When they're doing the weather or when they're doing new like when they're doing like commentary or news. The girls dress very, very, very skimpy. So it's kind of very different than if you were in Toronto or Detroit or whatever, Montreal. It's very, very Mexicana, very short mini skirts. So it's kind of you're like, okay. And then,
And the music. I love the music in the morning. You have that.
You have that Mexicana music, very
it's
cool.
Great.
And the first night I watched, they have this, the way they do their television on there is, I think it's Azteca. And they have, the way they pronounce it, it's like, I was sitting there and our first time in Mexico, and I was like tripping. I was on a 5-star. We've been in 5 stars before. It was just our first real experience at an amazing 5-star hotel. We've been, as I said, with other ones since then. But this was a very unique experience because you're in Rio and Palace and you're in Cabo, and the experience is that the first night I'm sitting around drinking my rum and Coke, Patricia's sleeping away. And I love the smell of the cedar wood. I love cedar wood.
Everything was cherry wood in the room, but it's changed, as we said.
I'm a real wood guy. I love wood
yeah.
and cherry wood, and I love the smell of wood.
Gave
right?
it a really classy look,
The first night I'm watching their television, and they had Scarface, which is one of my favorite movies. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like drinking my rum. I'm in Mexico, 5-star. I mean, I'm just popping, right? I mean, I just felt that freedom that most men don't enjoy in life. But I laid there and I sat there and watched Scarface. And the way they pronounce it, it's not like, tonight 11 o'clock this, 10 o'clock this. Then they'll go like, 10 o'clock in Medellin, Scarface. 10:30, Buenos Aires. 11, Santiago. 12:30, Mexico City. And you're like, wow, that's incredible.
great.
I love that kind of vibe.
Yeah, it was
So
great.
I'm drinking my Mexican Coke, Coca-Cola, put it in Coca-Cola, and then putting it in with my rum. And they have this these you see on the internet. They have the mini bar. And basically, they have 4 different types of alcohol, although they replaced brandy, I believe, with scotch or whiskey since we've been there.
Let's put it this way. If you think of a hospital, you run out of your stuff,
Your intravenous bottle.
there's another one waiting there. And as soon as you drink everything in the bar, They'll come knock on the door
let's
and
let's
replace
let's
it.
just say that the bar is fully stocked, and you have four different types. You have vodka, tequila, whiskey, and rum. Okay, and then you got beer in the fridge, pop and water and stuff. If you're a chronic alcoholic,
You'll never leave the room.
all you do is call the. All you do is if you drain all the bottles, you just call the number, and a guy will come up in 10 minutes, give him a few bucks tip. You know, just be always do your tipping. Be polite with the tip. Be professional. You know how you handle the staff. Be courteous. And four bottles will be plugged in like an Intervitus bottle in a hospital. And you can literally die of alcohol poisoning without ever leaving your room. Okay, because
Pace yourself.
pace yourself. Because even if you manage to get out of your room, and if you're a chronic booze hound, and you make it, I mean, I'm talking like Keith Richards on the road with the Stone 70s kind of drinking. Even if you make it out of the room with a never-ending supply of alcohol, you got to make it to the beach bar and still survive the beach bar with all the other 300 partiers wearing their sombreros and giant glasses, blasted on whatever they're drinking and fruity drinks and Baileys and
It's a good time,
right.
really.
And then you got to survive the day in that heat, with an evening coming, and then make it back to your room and still have four bottles of booze. So literally, you could die from alcohol poisoning without ever leaving your room. You could just spend the whole week in your room
In
on
your
the
room,
balcony
having a good
if
time.
you are a chronic Keith Richards on the road, Charlie Sheen hanging out kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
So if you're worried about booze, you will not be disappointed. You will never run out, okay?
Anyhow,
Forever.
as you can tell, he likes his booze.
Yeah.
So we get out of the room and we go for a tour around the hotel. Beautiful hotel.
It is majestic. I love touring around. It's like a giant palace. It is like a giant palace you see in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East. We were on the
Beach side,
beach side,
beach and pool side.
Right. It's like a beach. There's a pool in the front, and then further away on the other side of the palace, you can see the rocks like you see on the on the ocean, right? You
Cabo
see it,
San Lucas, yeah.
We couldn't see that from our room. We could see the ocean, but when you go to the lobby bar, you can actually see that from the lobby bar. It's an incredible view of the ocean and the rocks you'll see on the videos.
Yeah.
And people are, it's more upscale. A lot of people you can tell are
Business people,
CEOs, people are lawyers, doctors. It's not
It's mixed.
You're not going to get too much of your 2-star Cuban hotel crowd. You're going to get a very more upscale crowd, but it's not a hotel for single people.
Right.
It's a very couple orientated or group orientated hotel. So
Right.
you'll meet mostly everyone there it was either coupled up or they were like 4 women, 3 women together, 4 women like girls week in Mexico kind of a situation.
And they'll all pile out in the evenings
yeah.
and go partying in
Cabo San Lucas,
near the marina. They have
yeah.
clubs there.
It's about a 15-minute ride if you take a cab. It's about $17. It's a bit pricey. But you have to remember now, that Cabo's changed through the last few years. And once you leave the hotel off the grounds, you're now in Mexico, the real Mexico.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that you have to be careful about when you're in Cabo. Because, when you're in a city in Mexico, you're no longer on the grounds and you have to deal with possibility of Mexican police and a lot of hustlers, a lot of people that are selling stuff to you, the potential of physical, situations, altercations in bars where people are drinking and partying too much and they get caught up in the whole scene.
But that's not in the hotel. That was when you go
you're
to
in the city.
In the city, in the marina. That's
So
what you're talking about.
it was one of those situations. We went into the city, but it was so hot. It was probably like 43,
40 plus, yeah.
43 Celsius because we're Canadians, so it was 43 Celsius. It was very hot. So we stayed for a couple hours and then we booted it back to the hotel.
Right.
Next to the hotel is the Rio Santa Fe. The Rio Santa Fe is a 4-star.
Right.
So the Rio Santa Fe is next door, and it was really cool because they have this really beautiful Aztec-style statue in the Rio Palace. Next door, you have these beautiful, like you see in those palm trees in the old Clint Eastwood movies with the V-shaped, palm trees, and I'm enthralled by palm
I
trees.
love
I've
palm
always been
trees.
palm trees, cactus, right? I love desert, right?
Yeah.
So the Rio Santa Fe is next door. The Santa Fe is a really big time super party hotel.
But it's also a nice hotel,
It is.
which has been updated
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So, but it's lovely.
Their rooms are identical to the Rio Palace. Same thing. It's just that the rooms since we've been have been updated in a different way, where they'll have flat showers and spring showers. Where Santa Fe is the room that we had when we were there,
You're right.
with a small single tub. It's Rio Santa Fe is for partiers. So if you're young and you love to party, they do have a quiet section, and it's a beautiful hotel, and we would stay there in a heartbeat.
Oh
Believe me.
yeah.
You can eat in the Rio Santa Fe. If you're staying at the Palace, you're allowed to go eat in their hotel and drink, but they can't come into the Rio Palace because they're a 5-star hotel. Right. So if you come to the Rio Palace from Rio Santa Fe, you got to pay for your food and your drinks. But we are allowed to go to the Rio Santa Fe to have drinks, but we didn't. We just sort of toured around a little bit.
Looked around.
They had a great buffet.
Yes.
It's a very big resort. They have a quiet part for people, and there's a real party. You can hear it at night when you go out in the front of the hotel. Rio's Palace is like giant bubble parties and
with foam and stuff.
Foam and music like dun 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 until like 2 a.m.
But the thing is that if you don't want to hear that kind of music, you could just ask for a room that is further away from the music.
Yeah, the more quiet part.
Yeah.
Of the hotel,
but if you like listening to the music, which some people do, hey, then by all means you can stay close to the music. The rooms, get a room there.
It's a very much as your lifestyle kind of hotel experiences. As I say, if you're 23, you want to party. Rio Santa Fe is for you. You'll have a blast. There's just so much partying going on there with young people. But if you're, a little old in the older crowd like us, we're in the 55 and up crowd. We've done the party, all that good stuff when we were young, and we had a great time, and we still love to have a good time, but in a different way. We're more into like exploring, but we like also just sitting by the beach bar, or maybe sitting down at the lobby bar and enjoying the view and having a drink and just sucking up all the experience, because we've done all that partying stuff. Which, when we were younger.
But the thing is, you'll get into the habit like we did. I'm not really a drinker, but every morning at 10 o'clock after breakfast, I'd go from my daiquiri to the bar that was it upstairs?
A lobby bar, yeah.
The lobby bar. We go there, and a lot of people will go there in the morning.
Yeah. It's just difficult when you see single people, because they look really lost. Like, they look kind of lonely, because it's just not a place, if you're looking to hook up, it's not a hookup type of hotel. It's just strictly couples and girls weekends. Yeah. They have a great Michael Jackson show at night. They have some great a la cartes. We don't do a la cartes. We usually just go to the buffet. The buffet is more than enough.
Food is really
excellent. Good. And they have like I said, different a la cartes. But we tended to stay at the buffet, and then you have a beach buffet as well, so you don't have to worry about food or anything. You're fine. But if you're a foodie and you need Japanese, or you want to go Chinese or different types of restaurants, they have it there. Yeah. So basically, before we left, I think we put on about 8 pounds before we left.
10 pounds probably.
We probably went I think our stove went cold for like 2 weeks before we left. I mean, we just ate out. Like, we went from being, pretty fit to like huffing and puffing up those stairs in Mexico, because we had gone on and had like 5 sets of nachos and cheese downtown. And, it was always like, do you want to cook or do you want to go out? And we're like, oh, let's go out, right?
We're talking about Toronto before we left. Not there.
So when we got there, we were probably a little bent out of shape. I probably had a little too much whiskey before I left anyway. So I actually tamed it down when I got there. I have a standard policy of not drinking very much when I'm with Patricia whenever we travel. So I only drink in the room, and even then on all the trips I've never been drunk, so I've never come close. I just pace myself. But in the room, I just relax. But this is an incredible hotel that you will not be disappointed. It's a little on the upscale money-wise, but you will definitely enjoy your experience. But I would suggest that you more likely stay in the hotel stay in the hotel itself, because there's a lot of issues happening recently in that area in the last few years that have changed. There's a huge army military camp near Cabo San Lucas, and it's a place where, like any other city, you have to be, you have to watch yourself. So, overall, I felt we never felt any kind of indication of any situation. It's funny when you see the staff. The staff do 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, right? And when they leave, they leave. There's no, I love the staff there. They're just such beautiful people.
Very
and
nice.
it's just.
And you get to know them on a first name basis.
Yes.
They sit and talk to you about their home life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I was talking to one of the maids and saying, "Oh, so does your husband help you around the house?" Nudge, nudge. And Thomas goes, "Click, click, click, the remote." And she goes, "No, click, click, click."
No. It's funny because when the 12 hours comes by, they do 12-hour shifts. I got to know the maitre d' really well. 12-hour shifts, and then they do, as soon as they leave, they don't change their clothes, and they just walk down the street wearing their chef hats and their maid clothes,
it's really
heading to the
different.
bus, and then they gone. And so you see this whole group of people wearing uniforms,
The chefs,
their maitre d' uniforms or chef hats.
Yeah.
They're just walking down the road to the bus, man. They don't care. They're gone, right?
Yeah.
For this 12-hour shifts, right? You still have things to do at home too, right? So, as I said, the only thing that you have to always be smart when you travel is when you go to a foreign country, you always have to mind your manners and remember where you are. We've seen an experience where we were on the lobby bar
when
in
I was having
Cabo.
one of my daiquiris.
Yeah, we were having a great time and beautiful. It never rained once, and it was just
didn't.
blue sky, sunny and
Lovely,
warm.
beautiful.
Two things you have to remember: the beach, you cannot swim in the water. I will tell you this right now, for your own safety, for your life, do not ever go into the water in the ocean in front of the hotel Rio Palace. I said, I guarantee you will die.
Yeah.
The current is so powerful that people have been killed walking along the beach 10 feet out of the beach. The Swiss couple that one of the staff members had told me had died earlier in the year when a giant 10-foot wave came in and grabbed them and pulled them into the water. They got her out, but he died. They found him later on down at the end of the side of the beach. Now, and they were walking along the beach, about 7-8 feet in from the water. Now, this water is so powerful.
Happened to us too, right?
Yeah, it happened to us. We actually fell down and we were on the beach and actually slipped because the water came in.
Exactly.
And this water, the undertow was two oceans hitting each other at the same time.
It's like two hands pulling you.
Yeah, the undertow will carry you out
yeah.
And further and further to the point where you just become a loss and you'll never be found again. And
so just remember,
please.
You can go on the beach and further up. I think people did swim on the beach.
There's a rope. There's a rope. You can go further down the beach towards the city.
Yeah.
As you walk along the beach, there's an area where you can actually go swimming past Santa Fe into other areas of towards the city itself. But in front of Rio Palace, you cannot swim in that water. I said, even if you're an Olympic standard swimmer, at best you may get out, but the chances are that you will die. So please listen to them when they see, don't go in the water.
Yeah.
It is a fact. You will die in that water. No one can go in and rescue you because you will die in there.
It's a beautiful hotel, and a lot of people do say the only downside is that you're staring at the water and you really would love to go in, but go in at your own risk. Not unless you're a super Olympic swimmer, and even then. But get back to the lobby bar.
But there's tons of swimming pools, so you don't need to go into the ocean anyways.
Yeah.
Secondly, there was a couple that came in. Now, this again about security. When we came in, there was a couple that just came in from Moscow.
In the lobby bar,
and they were young, but they were having a fight over.
They're Russian?
Yeah, they're Russian. Yeah, they were having a fight over something that 20-somethings have. Apparently, he had been, talking to some other girl, blah, 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 and she was all angry. And the security came over and asked them, they have to keep this down or else I'll have to call the police. Now, this is a country where you have to be, as any foreign country, you have to be really, really mindful that you're not back home, okay? So always treat it with respect that you're in a foreign country, so mind your manners and mind the laws of the country. Do not be tempted
To
by
have big arguments. Yeah.
or by other means of recreational fun, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not back home in Colorado or in Toronto. You're in a foreign country and their laws are very different. So be respectful, mind your manners, pay your proper respect, and you'll come home a much happier and safer person when you arrive back in your city, right?
Because even on the beach when we were sitting just after we had dinner,
Yeah.
after the lobby bar incident with the Russian couple, we were sitting there and I didn't even notice there was some federales sitting down in a boat.
Yeah.
And you can tell them what else.
Well,
happened.
there was a guy that was shooting up blue flares. I was leaning up against the rail, just relaxing. Patricia had gone to the banyo to wash them, and I was right above a boathouse, and this guy was shooting up a blue flares in the sky, which means basically he was a magnet for people that wanted to party in a more dangerous aspect. But when you look down below, there was 3 federales hiding behind the boat.
In a boat.
Behind the boat. And I was thinking, I grabbed Patricia and said, let's get the hell out of here because, I see a few guys heading towards this guy. And this is why it's so important that no matter what country you're in a foreign country,
don't be
remember to keep yourself safe by abiding by the laws of that country. Because you may think smoking weed is probably cool in Colorado or in Canada, but other countries it can lock you up for 5 years, and you don't want to be in a Mexican prison for 5 years.
So just be sensible and be safe about that. That you do have the federales watching you. So
try to party and have a good time.
Yeah, in the hotel.
And in the end, when we were leaving, just before we go, the end of leaving, there was this guy. He looked like this guy was staying at Santa Fe, and he looked like a reporter from the 1970s.
Kolchak?
He looked like Kolchak from
fedora.
the old Night Stalker series. He had a straw hat. He's from Toronto. We actually bumped into him
when we came back in a mall.
And he was a real he loved the chicas. Okay, so he had a straw hat, and he was a salesperson. So he used to come over on our side, and we talked to him. He was a real fun guy. One of those guys that has like 1 million friends in 1 million seconds, right? A little salesman.
Yeah.
So we were leaving, and
he's in a corner with his chica.
He's still having lunch, and we're already getting ready to go to the bus, and he hasn't even packed yet. So we get to the airport. We run to the airport. We get to the airport, waiting for our flight. I mean, and these are old style where you have to walk along the tarmac and go up the staircase. So we're thinking, okay, maybe he's gonna, stay an extra week.
He's
whatever.
already packed and ready to
We
go.
get there, and just at the last second when they're closing the door, he made it up. He ran across the tarmac carrying his bag, went up the stairs. Just when the lady was going to close the door, he grabbed it open, jumped through. I laughed. I said, I thought you just made another 5 minutes, he'd have missed it.
Everybody's giving him high fives. You made it.
High five. He had like 1 million friends. He gets to the chair behind us, next to this lady and her husband. He pulls out all these bottles, and I thought they were whiskey bottles, and I went, wow, he's ready for his trip home. But they were all like Imolium, Pepto, Amoxicillin, I mean, all the gravel. And she looked like freaked out. She was like,
he downed his Pepto like it was a cocktail or something.
Yeah,
she was
it was
kind of
really
freaking
funny.
out.
It was crazy. So I'm looking back at him, and then all of a sudden he got upgraded to the front. He moved to the front. So
we thought he was being arrested, but no.
He was just instantly pulling out Pepto, Amox, all the stomach stuff, right? And the other lady, I thought it was whiskey bottles for a second. I thought he's just ready to party, right? Just can't give it up. So when we got, we sat next to a woman, and she was kind of unusual because she kept her legs crossed for almost 6 hours straight. And I was kind of like, oh man, that's why I said, like, you got to be really, really smart when you travel in a foreign country. So please have a great time, but be smart and be safe. But you will love Rio Palace.
You will love it. You will
everything you want.
It will be.
Meet. It'll be.
Fun from the time you land.
Believe the reviews because they're all incredible. We still miss it to this day. Hope to God we can go back someday.
Yes, we will. Most definitely we will. But anyhow, I'm going to wrap this up. So until our next episode. And what we're going to discuss, we're going to talk
We're going
about
to discuss our trips to
Hollywood.
Los Angeles in two parts.
Yeah.
So we're discussing our first part will be Santa Monica and Beverly Hills, and then the second part will be our experience in Hollywood, which needs a second part, okay? Because LA is like a combination of cities within a city itself. So
Maybe we'll put in the Las Vegas part as well, because we traveled from Las Vegas to.
But we'll put
Los
that but
Angeles.
we'll put that in the beginning, and then we'll do
Okay.
we'll do a two-part. After that, we'll do a two-part on our trip to Las Vegas.
Okay, so hope you've enjoyed our stories. Not stories, they're all true, but trust me, you'll have a fabulous time in Cabo San Lucas, Rio Palace Hotel.
So stay safe.
Bye.